Welcome to Ivy and Ivy, Generations of Justice.
Hey everybody, welcome to an all-new episode of Ivy and Ivy, Generations of Justice with attorneys Sam and Vic Ivy there of Ivy and Ivy Law. I'm your host, Mike Leon. They're known for standing up to big insurance companies. I hate big insurance companies, so we're going to get into all of that in just a second. Sam and Vic, they help injury victims understand what they're really up against and how to fight back. And in today's episode, we're talking about how insurance adjusters operate, what tricks they use, and how you can protect yourself. Sam, Vic, good to see you guys. Let me ask a broad question. Either of you can take this. What should people know off the top about insurance companies and how they evaluate claims?
You okay with me taking it?
Sure, yeah, take off.
Sure. Hey, Mike, appreciate you having us on today. So what people need to know initially about insurance companies and their evaluations are you're just honestly almost a number to them sometimes. And so it's very important to get a lawyer involved in a serious case to tell your side of the story properly and humanize your claim. These insurance companies use software programs of various names, and sometimes what they're doing is simply putting in medical diagnoses and other factors into the case to mathematically spit out a number that they're going to offer to try to settle the case. And that could be a lowball offer in that scenario. So with those software programs, there's not much of a human element as to, what's going on with your case. Everybody's different. Everybody's injuries are different. And that's where a lawyer comes in. That's where we can come in to help tell your story to maximize the value of your case, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And I think the follow-up is perfect because you mentioned a little bit there in the answer about some of the programs that they're using, but what other tactics are some of the adjusters using now to reduce the payouts or even delay compensations to injury victims?
Well, basically, Mike, what they do, and thank you for having us on the show today, but basically what they will do a lot of times is just say that the case is under investigation. And when they're in the process of doing the investigation, they're also collecting evidence. And it may be evidence from, the vehicles. It may be evidence from family members. It may be evidence that's taken from even a statement from the victim in the case, the person that's actually injured in the case. So a lot of times that's what they'll use is just say that the case is under investigation before we make a decision of whether or not liability lies with the defendant in this case. So wouldn't you say that, Sam?
I would say so. And then, Mike, one other thing I can think of is they'll ask for a zillion forms that you need to sign before they can fully evaluate your claim if they're unrepresented. And a lot of times all that does is give the insurance company control, unwarranted control over the case, such as a medical authorization. Now they have access to any medical record they want to pull on you in the past. And sometimes that can be used against you, and it's just really improper or inappropriate to sign that document early on.
I want to go back to something that Vic just said there that I thought was interesting because you mentioned recorded statements, I believe, in your answer. So can you kind of explain first how they work and second, how they could potentially lead to some problems? Like, why is it that they lead to some problems if you're giving a recorded statement?
Well, generally, the insurance company will want to take a recorded statement from the injured party. And when they do that, sometimes the recorded statement is given when you're either in the hospital or not long after you're leaving the hospital. And in those situations, you may be under the influence of some sort of pain drug, and you might at that moment say, I feel okay. I'm feeling fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Well, of course you feel fine if you just got through taking a hydrocodone or some pain medication. So that recorded statement will come back to bite you. The other thing is, when they take that recorded statement, you might not exactly get the facts straight because you may still be confused by the accident. You may, by just mistake, happen to say there was a blue car that came by when it was actually a green car. There are a lot of different things that could occur. And those things at trial come back to bite you. And that's what we're always looking at is when we go to trial, because we think that's what differentiates us is that we have so many years of trial experience.
Yeah. Sam, I wanted to say, because you mentioned it at the high level about the importance of getting an attorney, and Vic just kind of mentioned it there as well. What happens when the insurance company, and I'm sure this has happened to people out there that are listening or watching this, what happens when the insurance company says, no, you know what? You don't need a lawyer.
So, Mike, I mean, if they're telling you that, the problem is they may be stringing you along, but the insurance company all the while is building a case against you while you're unrepresented. So, evidence disappears over time. If you're unrepresented, those vehicles could go away, photographs of the scene, if there's gouge marks, different things like that need to be documented and investigated to prove your claim properly and prove your case properly if it goes to trial. So once that evidence is gone, it's gone. And you're really giving the insurance company a leg up by doing that. So it's very prudent to get a lawyer, get us involved early on to maximize the value of your case.
It's important to get a lawyer. That's why we're talking to two lawyers here, right, guys? I'm curious, and either of you can take this. What are some red flags that people should be looking out for in terms of being entitled to certain compensation and they don't get that compensation? Like, what are some red flags? Either of you can take this question that you would advise them to look out for.
I'll let Sam answer this question. The only thing I'm going to say is that sometimes insurance companies will just totally ignore you. Even when you're trying to file a claim, contractually, they're required to contact you. But sometimes they just don't answer their phone, just won't call or answer the phone call or email or text message.
And when they're doing that, I mean, basically what they're trying to do is see if you'll let your time run out, if you'll let the statute of limitations run out. Which bars the case if you don't get a lawsuit filed within a year in Tennessee and different time periods in other states. But the other tactic we see them use, Mike, is they may offer you some money to resolve your case before you're done with your medical treatment. So obviously in that scenario, they're shooting in the dark as to what the case may be worth because you're still going to the doctor. You're still trying to figure out how badly this has affected you. So in and of itself, that's going to be a low ball offer. They're trying to close the file as quick as they can to get on to the next claim. And that's just not proper. That's what you need a lawyer for, to pump the brakes on that, get all the evidence together and, either negotiate a settlement or file suit and go to trial if needed.
And Sam, I want to piggyback on that because can the insurance company, for my own edification here, can an insurance company deny a claim without a valid reason?
So initially they may deny the claim saying things such as, or not accept the claim saying things such as, the case is still under investigation. As Dad said, they need to take sworn statements. They need more information from you as to, your medical condition and information such as that. But denying a claim without a valid reason is improper. And there's statutes that protect folks against that, such as the bad faith statutes in Tennessee. But it all comes down really to the contract, the insurance policy between either the at-fault driver and that insurance company or your own uninsured motorist coverage, and what that contract is between, say, our client and their own insurance. Sometimes we have to pursue claims against them as well if the at-fault party's insurance is inadequate to compensate for the losses. So it comes down to that contract that they're not allowed to, or it's illegal to deny it for no valid reason. However, they come up with a whole host of valid reasons as to why to deny the claim initially, at least. And that's where you need a lawyer to play chess with them.
Let's play chess. I love it. Not checkers, playing chess, right? So, and Vic, let me turn to you now. Like, how can one person, maybe they're watching this or listen to this, they just got into an accident, whatever it is, how can this one person kind of fight against an insurance company's whole legal team, even if they were to go without the legal route? How would you advise them? Obviously, get a lawyer, but how would you advise them to fight against an insurance company's entire legal team?
Well, first of all, what they need to do is hire a really good, competent attorney, and that's us, because we've got over 40 years of trial experience between the two of us. We presented hundreds of cases to juries, so we know when we start walking to the courtroom that we're going to be able to competently represent that individual. Now, when you get there, when you get to court, They may have a whole team of lawyers on the other side. But here's the beauty of being in court. Only one lawyer can speak at a time. So if only one lawyer can speak at a time, you want the best voice that you could possibly have speaking on your behalf. You really don't need somebody that sounds like Mickey Mouse or something like that to get up and try to speak on your behalf. So, in my past life, Mike, I was a federal prosecutor, and I worked for the government for years and years. And time after time, when I was at trial, the other side would say the government, with all of its resources and all of its power, and it was just me. It was just me sitting there. So I was the government in that situation. So you need a good, competent attorney. And when you get to court, you'll have both Sam and me sitting there at court with you. A lot of times you'll see television attorneys that you'll never see in the courtroom. The person you think you're calling to represent you, you'll never even meet. And when you get to court with us, we're both going to be there. We're both on your side, and we're both going to fight for you. So, the other side, the insurance company may have a whole team of lawyers, a whole stable full of lawyers to turn loose. But when you have Ivy and Ivy, you're going to get both of us.
Boy, print that on a shirt right there, right? And only one host can speak too. Similar, it's like the courtroom. One host will speak here. And let me ask you guys a final question. Let's land the plane here. Sam, you can take this if you want. What's one thing right now for people watching this, listening to this? Maybe they're in the middle of a claim and they don't realize. What is one thing that they should realize that even if they're in the middle of the claim, that they should stop and say, you know what? I have to realize this. I have to emphasize this because it's kind of getting lost in the shuffle. What is something that they should look out for?
Sure. Well, and I think we mentioned it earlier in the episode as well, but they're already building a case against you from day one. And so it's very important to head that off, collect your own evidence, do your own investigation through a personal injury attorney, get us on board and let us start building that case to adequately represent you and tell your story. Some of these cases get, very expensive, and experts are required to properly present your case. And we've done that numerous times to get the most value out of seriously injured people's cases. So what you may not realize is that's going on and you're already in the middle of a claim, or you're still having pain at 6 months after the accident and your claim's a little more serious than you thought it was. And, you need a lawyer to help you get the most out of that case in that scenario. I would say those two things, Mike.
Gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for the time, insights, and analysis on all this. The audience truly appreciates it, and I truly appreciate it as well.
We appreciate you having us on. Thank you, sir.
And folks listening out there, thank you for watching another episode. Insurance companies, listen, they got their own playbook. And guess what? Sam and Vic got their own playbook as well. If you need help getting treated fairly after an accident, do me a favor right now. Visit ivyandivy.com. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please like, subscribe, hit us with a comment, review, share it with somebody who needs to listen to it. As always, I'm Mike Leon. We'll see everybody next time.
Take care. See you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.